Howdy folks, welcome back to 50 Knock Mile Arc. Welcome to leg 10 of our Transcontinental series. And for this leg, it's going to be a nighttime flight, middle of the night. But we have to get this thing lit up so that we can get people boarding, and then we'll talk about what we're actually doing in this flight. So let's hop inside. Let's turn on our flashlight. There we go. We're going to come down here and turn on external power. And come up here and turn on some lights. There we go. We can turn the flashlight off. We'll also turn some cabin lights on as well. And I think then we should be ready to go. Let's hop out here. There we go. Now we can see a little bit. Let's hop out here and open up some doors so people can start boarding. Like so. There we go. So what are we doing today? This is leg 10 across the continental United States in the Beechcraft 1900D by Carenado, my new favorite airplane in the entire X-plane world. I like how I can actually see my gauges from out here. And I want to do another nighttime flight. This is going to be a very, very straightforward flight. We're taking off in Perryville, Missouri, and we're just going to head east towards Washington, Indiana. The airport there's Davies County, Kilo Delta Charlie. Yeah, why can't I think Yankee? I can't think of why. I was going to say yo-yo, but it's Yankee. Taking off, like I said, Perryville Regional Airport. In the sim, it's Kilo 02. It's been changed in real life to Kilo Papa Charlie Delta. If you recall, we had a hard time finding this place in the last leg because the name has changed and the airplane or airport data in X-Plane 11 is very outdated. I found out while I was doing research for the Eclipse. So that explains the discrepancy there, but straightforward, clear skies, we can see the stars, 3-knot wind in both locations, very straightforward. GPS all the way, there's only one instrumental approach to our destination airport, so there's not much to talk about. Not really much at all to talk about outside the ordinary, but that's what our cabin looks like all lit up when it's nighttime outside. We don't get to see that too terribly often. So let's hop up front. Oh, look at those nice frame rates. It's so nice to have great frame rates. And let's see, what do we need to do to get this thing going? We're just going to get going right away. We're already on GPU. We got to set the weight and fuel. We're going to be doing more than 42 minutes. Let's go a good hour and a half here. There we go, like that. Keeps us well below landing weight, let alone takeoff weight. Alright, let's see. Turn on the battery next here. Let's hide that yoke. And what's next? The avionics switch. It's been a long time since I've done this. I've been flying that Eclipse so much off camera, getting ready for some videos that I just haven't been flying this very much. It's been a long time, so I gotta get back into the swing of things here. Alright, let's see. Lighting. What lighting do we need? Let's see. Where are we? I don't even know my way around this airplane. Actually, let's see what that looks like with the tail flood. Oh yeah, it does light up the tail, as you would expect it would, but let's see what those do. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Alright, so let's see. What else is up there that we need? Nothing at the moment. Okay, good. Alright, autopilot. Let's see, where are you? EFSIS, EFIS, goodness gracious. Alright, flight plan. I'm so used to that GTN 750, but I have to remember how to use this Garmin 530. Alright, let's see here. Flight plan says Duluth. That's hilarious. Let's do nope. Flight plan and then menu. And then up to go down. Enter. Alright, so let's see. Push to highlight that and then down like this. So, Kilo 02. Going to take off on runway 20, so we're into the wind even though it's only 3 or 4 knots. And we're going to make a U-turn and head up to UCFX, whatever that means. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll get it in here and you'll see how it's spelled for yourself, and you can maybe tell me what it's supposed to stand for, because in the United States all these waypoints mean something. They're nicknames or they mean something to people in the area. There you go. UCFX. I don't know. Not exactly sure. And from there we're going to enter our approach. So after UCFX, it is OQCIR. Oxer. I'm not sure what that means either, but we'll put in Oscar, Quebec. Won't get to see that one very much. Where's Quebec in the alphabet? There it is. We're all set. So we did our approach by hand because you know what happens when I do the approach with the GPS. It sends us to other places. So there we go. 142 the first waypoint. I was going to say it should be like 188 or something total. All right. What do we need to know? Nothing. I just have my approach plate sitting next to me. We'll enter the approach at 2,600 feet at a radius of 183 degrees. Whoop-de-doo. Nothing unusual there at all. So then what is next in our startup? Let's see. Can't remember anything. GPS. Oh yes, CDI for GPS on the nav. Radio. No radios or anything. It's all through the GPS. We'll put our ATC on standby 7071. That's interesting. Time for the barometer. We'll pull up the map. And let's see. Click on the airport to get details. 3018. So we'll come down here until we get to 30. Isn't that going to move for me? I guess I have to do it like this. It's going to be a lot of clicks. 3018. There we go. And we'll come outside here and make sure everybody is ready to go. And when they are, we will remove the static elements and close the doors. There we go. Hop inside. Have a look at that. Awesome. Nice to have their frame rates back too, because in that eclipse, it eats frame rates even more than this thing does. But you know what? That's okay. I like that plane too. But I really love this plane. All right. Emergency lights will go to arm. We don't need those on anymore. What else can we do? Make sure the parking brake is set. Which one is parking brake? That one is parking brake. All right. Now fuel switches. I learned a little bit about this. I did some research. You turn on the standby pumps. Auxiliary pumps go to auto. And that's it. This quantity thing. This does show us remain in auxiliary. However, the reason why it's been looking like the fuel gauge has never been moving is because this aircraft uses the auxiliary tanks first. So if we leave it down here, we should see the gauge move, and then when it gets to 0, we can flip it up, and then the main tanks will start to go. That's why this entire time I've thought maybe this wasn't modeled, because I had the switch wrong. I was looking at the wrong tanks. Transfer flow, that's if you have a fire, you can transfer or an engine shutdown, you can transfer the flow to the other engine, of course, but you really want to make sure that your auxiliary pumps are on auto so that you don't run out of fuel. So there you go. That clears that up. I've been wondering that for a really long time, and I finally was able to find something. I think it was the POH, had that. That's how I figured that out. I also figured out something else about these auto igniters. They say you're supposed to use them to save the life of the engine. However, some pilots say they never use them in certain conditions, but I'm not sure what those certain conditions are. But anyway, we're going to use them now. So igniter on, and then what? We'll start the right engine. Normally you would introduce fuel in the right conditioner about quarter of the way once the turbine gets to 15. But because of the sim, I'm just going to increase it all the way, save some time. And both conditioners are in one yoke. So up it goes. It's nighttime, we can't see anything, so we'll just look at our prop gauge for rotation. And the prop is rotating, so we can come back down here, turn on the right generator, and we'll start the left engine as well. And the left engine is started, and we'll look for prop rotation, and we have it. So, turn on the left generator, close the cover, and then we'll turn the auto igniters off. They don't need to stay on. And we'll turn external power off as well. Actually, we'll do the AC bus first. And then we'll turn external power off. And what do we have here? Environment. I've never seen that before. Oh, that's our bleed valves, I think. Let's see. I looked away from my list. Where are we? Cover, auto, AC bus, turn off, rudder boost. Between the seats, never moves. Climate control is which button now? I moved all my buttons around. Turn on the blowers and the furnace. Auto temp will go to manual, and we'll decrease so it doesn't get too terribly hot. We'll test overspeed and stall. And that tells me that my sim volume is way too loud in my ears. Let me turn that down so we don't have other problems. And what is next? Cabin pressure. Down here, we're going to cruise at, let's do 16,000 like normal. So set that to 17,000 and make this all the way clockwise. For the purpose of the sim, come back up here and turn on our bleed valves, and the environmental warnings went off. Good. What else? Auto feather, arm, which is way down there. Generator ties closed, which is there. Next page. Anti-ice, normal, auto. Stall, pitot. There we go. When I flew that Eclipse the other day, I didn't turn on anti-ice and I froze up. That was pretty startling. And prop sync on. We're ready to go. TCAS. Set up the autopilot. We're going to cruise at 16,000 feet today. Someday I'll get the direction right on this thing. And there's 16,000 there. Autopilot. We are going to use heading bug first this time, and then we're going to climb 2,200 feet per minute. So vertical speed, climb 2,200. Alt select 16,000 feet, and heading bug for starters. What else we got to do now? Turn on our taxi lights and our nav lights. So now we look like, what do we look like? We look like that. Very nice. Alright, we are ready to taxi out of here. Why do we have so many lights on? Oh, because our overhead lights are on. Let's turn those off. It's going to make it darker in the back too, though. What else is lighting this thing up so much? Is it this one? No, that's just for the back. I don't know. We'll have to play with those. I'm getting a lot more light than normal in here. I don't like that. I'll have to find the source of that light. But for right now, let's, well, now it got dark. Weird. Okay. We're going to go out to the right. It's unmodeled airport, so it's very simple. We're just going to taxi out to the right. Parking brake is off. Props are going to go to taxi. They should change. They do, the sound. And we're going to get out of here. We are stuck in the dirt, so we got to... Whoa. Okay. Okay. That wasn't so bad. I thought it was going to take a lot more to get out of the dirt. Alright, we're just going to taxi down to the end of this thing and get flaps out in the meantime and take off runway 20, so I'll meet you there. Alright, we're pulling onto the runway. Then we have a few more things to do before we take off here. Let's stop there. Set the parking brake. Alright, we are going to set heading bug to runway heading. And what else are we going to do? And the runway flaps are down, I believe. I still need a preset for this. Flaps are down. Cabin pressure is fine. We'll come up here. We'll switch our lighting to the way it should be. There we go. Land taxi lights off. Landing lights and anti-collision on. Trim for takeoff. We want it kind of like that. And we'll start our stopwatch. So we'll do select. I can't see in the dark. And a flight timer, and we're running. Lapse time is on. Our lights all turned off, so I didn't do anything. They just turned off. So there we go. Speaking of lights, we got to get our cabin light. Oh, they were cabin lights. All right, that should look like this back here. Yes, everything's off except the reading lights. All right, cabin. All right, pre-checklist is ready to go. So let's release the parking brake. Props forward and throttle forward, and away we go. And wow, this thing is jumpy for some reason. So a couple things to note. I did completely adjust my yoke settings. I watched this video on a professional pilot who spent a lot of time perfecting his yoke settings. Alright, let's see here. There we go. We are way too steep. Why are we so steep? What is going on? Oh boy. I'll finish telling you my story in a second. I gotta get this under control. Autopilot engaged. Goodness gracious. Wow. Anyway, so this pilot spent a lot of time perfecting the way he has his control set up for X-Plane. And I copied his settings because he claims it's as realistic as possible. Which means I need to relearn how to control the plane. As you just saw with our departing, holy cow, we went like straight up in the air, which I did not mean to do, because that's the first time I've taken off in this plane with the new settings. Sorry, I'm trying to talk while I adjust my heading bug to intercept the GPS. Alright, there we go. We are good. I want to look around, but first we got to get our engines under control so we don't start on fire. Let's bring our torque back here. So everything's in the green. There we... oh, come back. There we go. Bring the props back. Just double check. Green. Green, barely. Green, 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 green. Okay, everything's good to go. Autopilot's engaged. We'll wait till we almost intercept GPS. There we go. Now we can look outside. Very nice. So anyway, that's my story. So I've reset all of my yoke calibration and sensitivity. There's the airport there in the middle. So that's what they look like. I just have to get used to flying now, because obviously that was very startling. Would have been kind of fun though. But anyway, I'll get better at it. So that's one change. The other thing I did is I researched landing speeds for this thing. In fact, other people were questioning that as well, so I actually pasted to the forum and everything. So the published official approach for this, JERDY, which means full flaps, full gear, is at max weight, 15,800 pounds. The stall speed is 84 knots, and that's where that white arc is, 84 knots. However, in the sim, when you're JERDY, and even below max landing weight, it stalls at like 104. So for this landing, I'm going to try to land at 104, and between the new adjustments and the new speed, hopefully I can do a decent landing. This is still X-Plane 11.05 stable though, so we're still going to have ground effects suck us into the ground. So I don't expect a smooth landing, but I'll do the best I can. And this is so nice, these high frame rates, a night flight with all the lights. And we are good to go, folks. We're about ready to intercept our GPS. I'll wait a little bit longer here so we don't S-curve around. But autopilot is set. We're climbing nicely. Our engines look fantastic. I can put a little bit more throttle back in now that we're getting some air. Hardly any speed. We should have plenty of fuel. I'm going to watch that and see if that gauge actually goes down now, because I'm reviewing the correct tank. And yeah, checklist for takeoff is correct. I don't have much else to say. I'm going to stick with you here though till we intercept that GPS and turn off landing lights. And then we'll do our regular sightseeing, which nighttime at altitude and X-plane would be good, except you can see the edges of the night lighting. And I know why it's like that, because if that's more things that have to be lit and drawn and everything, and our frame rates would go lower than they already are, blah blah blah. But it'll be nice to have a nighttime flight anyway, I think. We can look at the stars or something. Alright, GPS intercept, let's go to nav. That should turn us now. And good, we're not going to S-curve. We're going to do exactly how I planned it to be. So at least I did something right. That's out of date, of course. You know what I guess we could do right now, since we're still talking. Well, we can turn out landing lights too. But we can actually program our vertical descent. So we want to be at, what did I say the chart said? 2,600. So 2,600 at, so we'll do 0. Use effects, which is right there, and we'll do 1,000 feet per minute. Alrighty, so that's 2,600 feet above sea level at use effects, 1,000 foot. We'll descend in, well, that's going to go way down when we level off. So anyway, I'll keep the GPS. Actually, GPS is over on the Avidyne too. I could just keep that up and look at the Avidyne for our map. However we want to do that. But anyway, we're all set. Not much else to say now. I am just going to play with some lighting and give you some nice sightseeing and manage my speed and all that piloty stuff. And you can just sit back and relax, and I'll see you at top of descent. So I have about 3 minutes top of descent, but a few things I wanted to point out. Our cabin temperature got to 40 degrees. I moved it up to auto temp and auto temperature. There's the two auto temps on there. There's the auto temp and then auto fan or whatever. And now it's about 70, I think that is. So hopefully it stays there. Oh no, 80. 80, 100. Yeah, see, and it's still climbing. So if you do auto, it goes to like 120. So I haven't figured out what we need to do to get this. There's auto, there's decrease. I don't know. Now it's going down. I'm trying to get it realistic and comfortable, but anyway, there's one thing I did. The other thing I looked at over here is our gauges are going down like they're supposed to. If you look up at main, it's where it started, so very good. So that is actually the correct way that's supposed to work, so that is good. In fact, we'll switch to main now because we're almost out on the auxiliary tank. And then our fuel low thing kicked on yet again, but we've been fine, or pressure I guess, and we've been fine, and the only difference this time is that it hasn't gone out yet. So we see that about 3 out of every 4 flights this pressure light comes on. The one time it doesn't come on, I don't do anything differently. However, normally it goes out by now. I'm not sure why it's still on, but I just find that kind of interesting. There are temperatures coming down. It's at like 78. The lights, I messed with all the lights. There isn't anything to change other than dimming the avionic light, which is your blue one there. So wasn't able to do anything there. Cabin pressure is in the red, which isn't good. I don't know why it's in the red this time, but we haven't died, so not sure what's going on there. That I haven't noticed that before. Our lights aren't coming up on the warning panel though, so I'm not worried about it. Alright, descend to target. So here we go. Let's bring this down to our minimum altitude though, which will be 1,320, which we can't do exactly, so we'll do 1,300, and we will come over here, autopilot, descend 1,000 feet per minute, because that's what we wanted to do. Reduce throttles a little bit so we don't overspeed, and if we come down here, 992, so we are still good. We will adjust our descent rate based on our VSR. We want to keep around 1,000, but if this gets to be too much or too little, then we'll make the change. So right now it's above 1,000. If it gets to be 1,200, then we will make it 1,200, for example. So anyway, all we have to do now is just watch our speed, and when we're at 10,000 feet, turn on our lights and things like that. So that's all we have to do there for descending. It's too early to get our barometer, and too early for anything else. So that's top of descent, folks. I've played with the fuel gauges, I played with the lighting, I played with our cabin temperature. Not sure why our cabin pressure doesn't like us. Well, now it's getting better as we come down. I don't know, whatever, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Oh, and our fuel pressure light went out. See that? So I don't know. Not a whole lot to see outside because of the lighting. The next plane when you're up this high just kind of cuts off. So we'll do a little bit more sightseeing, but mainly I'm just going to sit here and make adjustments to our descent rate based on our VSR. That's what I'm going to do, but because of the magic of editing, you're going to get some more sightseeing. So I'll catch you in a little bit. Checking in with everybody here. I made some adjustments to our cabin pressure, and now we're in the green, which is nice there. Our VSR is still good. It's been slowly going down. When that gets to 800, I'll make adjustments on our descent rate, but for right now, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. We are 6.5 minutes or 7 minutes out from our entry into the approach. As you can see, it's popping up on the GPS now, and our auxiliary tanks are empty. So now we're on main tanks, and they're starting to go down slowly. So everything is working out like don't see our airport. Maybe this is our airport there. Quite possibly. I'm not exactly sure, but we are low enough now. I should have turned the landing lights on a long time ago. I was just too busy playing with stuff. So here we go, descent checklists. Now we're going to get our barometer from the airport, providing it shows up. And there it is. That is your airport out there. So click on that, details, 3018. That's the same thing, right? 3018 it is. And why is our thing going all haywire here? Was that turbulence or something? Anyway, landing lights are on. Barometer is set. Too early for flaps, too early for gear. I adjusted my flakes to 104 knots and 115 knots. We'll use 115 to approach, 104 to land. Hopefully we can land somewhat smoothly. How are we on here? Well, no, we're still at 9. Okay, it's going up again. Good. So we're doing a good job with our descent. I haven't made any adjustments this time. Usually I'm adjusting things a lot. I haven't had to make any adjustments. We'll zoom that in as we get closer. And we can zoom that one in as well. As long as our descent rate stays within that, we're good to go. Oh, that's a nice shot. That's a great shot. Let's screenshot that. See, as we get lower now, the night lighting looks better. And it's way more interesting. I wonder what city that is. I did some research ahead of time, but all that I found out was we departed from the middle of nowhere and we're landing in the middle of nowhere. So that's all there really is to say about that. I was just checking out some interstate action, I guess. Freeway action. Alright, how are we looking? We're still good. Alright, the VSR's going nuts as we get closer to our waypoint, and I slow down the engines a little bit. So we don't want to be too far ahead of schedule. So we're looking for 2,600 feet in 3 minutes, and we're at 54. So just keep an eye on this. If that gets down to 800, then we'll switch our descent rate to 800 as well. Otherwise, everything's looking good. It looks like we got some towers in front of us that we're barely going to clear. Oh man, look at that. But this is a published approach, so we will see how it goes. Hopefully this kitty wampus U-turn still gives us enough room. If I look at the approach plate, we are going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll still be 11 miles out. So we should be good, even if this turn screws us up. Unlike that one leg we did where it turned us around at the airport. That was terrible. But we made it. Alrighty, what are we on here? Well, we're at 700 or something. We should probably slow down our descent a little bit. And start bringing back speed just a hair. And this is going to go crazy now because we're so close. Eventually it'll just spool down to 0 super fast. But we're just going to come out to here now. 2 minutes. At our turn we want to be at 2,600. And autopilot's at the 1,300 because that's when we have to make our decision. So let's just look around a little bit. And then once we make this turn, we should be lined up perfectly with the runway because it is a GPS approach. So we'll just fly it in and kill autopilot a little before the runway and land this thing. So there's our airport out there. So yeah, we'll have plenty of room. I should have looked up what freeway that was. I didn't notice a freeway when I looked at the map. Maybe it's not interstate. Maybe it's just a U.S. highway or something. Nice little town there. There's a good screenshot as well. With the moon in the background, look at that. A lot of radio towers out here. Alright, we should be turning soon here. Alright, 10 seconds till turn, so there we go. Let's start bringing speed back here because we're going to have to get gear and flaps down soon. 2,900, what do we want to be at? I can't remember. We nav 46, alright, good. We are actually right, well, we will be right at our target as soon as we turn this corner. Man, that feels like we're low to the ground. Wow, look at that, you can see the houses. Now that's a cool shot, look at that. Anyway, gotta keep slowing down. Autopilot's gonna keep us down. We're coming down at 600 feet per minute right now. So we got to check our waypoints and altitudes. So what do we want to be here? At use effects, which we are, 2600, 2100 at Okur. So at our next waypoint here, extend that range. At our next waypoint, we want to be at 2100. So where are we at? We're at 2200. Oh yeah, we'll be plenty fine. Let's get gear down now. That'll cause some drag. Props forward. Should still be in the green. Actually, let's not do props forward yet because that's way past the red. I don't want to start on fire. Alright. Cause some drag. A little early for flaps yet. Oh, his landing lights have been on for a long time. Barometer's already set. Gear now down. Now it's just a matter of getting flaps down very soon. And look at that. Isn't that nice looking? Wow, very cool. See some city lights. So where are we at? We're at 18, 17. So we are suddenly below where we want to be. So let's decrease our rate of descent to 400. How did we get below where we wanted to be? Anyway, that's okay. We'll be fine. Because then we got to get all the way down to what? 1300, so we got 300 feet to drop very quickly here. On the next waypoint, I'm looking at my GPS out of the corner of my eye. Yep, 300 feet by the next waypoint, so 200 feet now. Let's slow down a little bit. We'll get first set of flaps out in a moment. Let's slow down a lot. Now props can go forward. Throttles are back for a moment to bleed off that speed. And flaps engaged now. That'll make us float and drag. There we go. Nice. And second set of flaps. A lot of throttle, right out that float. Now we got 2 and 2 on the Pappy. And we'll kill autopilot. We're going to bring this home. So no sightseeing as much as I want to, but we all know what happens 1 second away from our windshield, or our gauges actually, because we're IFR. Although at this point we would have taken more visually, I guess. The GPS or RNAV only gets you so close. It's not an ILS. Even ILS only gets you so close. It's your Cat 2s and 3s that you can ride it in longer. But so we're 2 and 2, 600 foot per minute drop. I don't feel like we're dropping though very fast. Now we're too high. There we go. Let's trim down a little bit. Very nice. Bring back speed a little. We want to be just before that first flag as we cross the threshold. And then we will do 104 for landing and see how it goes this time. There's 2 and 2. Getting blown a little bit to the right. We're pretty much directly into the wind though. It's only like a 4-knot wind, but it's off just enough that we're drifting a little. Okay, that's a great approach speed. Coming down a little low, now we're off to the left. See, I feel like we're coming in way too fast. This is just too fast. It's way too fast, but the sim will stall if I drop below that first flag. So we gotta come in fast. I don't like it. That's what we gotta do. Alright. Getting a little slow because I want to slow down, but we can't or the sim will knock us out. So here we go. Let's just ride it. See, let's get sucked down. See, we stalled. We stalled early that time. Oh my gosh, I just don't understand. We were above 104 and we still stalled. I'm never gonna win this. But if you don't believe me, look at my X-Plane 10 videos. I landed just fine. All right, let's use reverses because we can. We don't have to. Well, that is a pretty short runway, wasn't it? Flaps have come in. Let's see. Oh, what was that? Oh, my Bandicam hit an hour. That's what it was. Oh, bummer. Let's see, where are we here? There we go. Let's go past the stop line. I do want to look at that replay, even though I said I wasn't going to do replays anymore of landings because of the ground effects, but I want to check that stall. So let's do parking brake. Let's hop outside and let's check out that landing. Yeah, I want to see what speed we were at when it stalled, because that's way too fast. Alright, so I tried to flare right now, and I pulled back, and it just wouldn't flare. What speed was that? Let's look at that again. Let's back that up. We're 110 now. It wasn't even like 110, because that's 100, 5, 10. Oh, that's so frustrating. Look at that, right? Boom. See, I pulled back all the way on the yoke. And I couldn't get a flare out of it. And then when we did touch down, though, you see the nose pop up. So right now, the yoke's all the way back right now. And I couldn't do it. We stalled, and then the nose pops up because I had the yoke back. And that was like 105 something. And that's dirty. So we got flaps out, gear down, and we're way below landing weight by several thousand pounds by max landing weight. And boom, stalled at like 110. Oh man. Well, let's see what they look like from the outside, because I'm curious. So yeah, so I'm trying to flare. See, you saw it go back. See, I was trying to flare. I'm trying. Nope. Man, and that's not even the ground effects issue. That's the model stalling or something causing it to stall way too soon. Ugh. Alright, let's head back to real time and park this thing. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to turn on our overhead lights and our floodlights, and turn off the landing lights, turn on the taxi lights, so that we can come down here and stop that. 41-minute flight. Wow. Approaches take so long. It was only like 20-some minutes before we started our approach. 41-minute flight there. Let's see, what do we need to do? What are we doing? We're landing. Landing lights off, taxi lights on, anti-collision can go to ground, cabin overhead lights on so people can collect their belongings. We stopped the stopwatch already, so now we're just going to taxi. Looks like it's not a modeled what? It's not modeled, but there's a farm right there. That's funny. Props down to taxi. There we go. Let's look at this farm. Parking brake off. Give us some throttle. Parking brake is off, right? There we go. Oh, let's give a little bit more. There we go. Come on. That's some funny stuff right there. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's super funny. Oh my goodness. Where are we gonna park this thing? Let's just park it here, I guess. Doesn't really matter. So let's just stop right about there. Ooh. Go down, set the parking brake. There we go. Props can come back to feather. My favorite sound. Let's kill the conditioners. Alright, let's see here. Let's hook up external power so people can still see what they're doing. Taxi lights can come off. That can come off. Emergency lights will come on. All that stuff can stay the way it is. What else? What can we do down here? We can now turn off our generators and our ties and the bus. We'll keep the battery on or we lose everything. No, we don't. We keep our lights on. Good. Okay. We get rid of the sound. Good. Turn the battery off. We'll live off external power. Open up the cabin, wherever the click spot is. There it is. And people can start exiting as they so choose. Sorry about the bumpy landing, folks. But let's hop out here, and can't see anything anyway, can we? But we can open up some doors, and we can do our static elements. Alright, there we go. Ooh, I like the city lights in the distance. Welcome to Washington, Indiana. We're a little southwest of Indianapolis. Hope you enjoy the flight. The 5 of you that were on it for this late night flight. I apologize for the bumpy landing, but we are still learning how to fly the aircraft, apparently. A couple things updated, and we have to learn everything all over again. So that being said, I hope you're enjoying the other flights mixed in with the legs of the series. I didn't want to fly all 17 legs of the series back to back. That would get boring in a hurry. But check out the other legs if this is the first one you've seen. Check out the other stuff. I have a lot of new aircraft on the channel all of a sudden. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.